Well, how you all doing today? I trust everybody's well. I left you last night in Liverpool. That's why I have the shirt on today. Liverpool have beaten Everton 1-0. Sitting in a bar. Should have been getting on a boat, but through the door came this stunner, this beautiful girl who, of course, was Dorothy. And as soon as I saw her, I said, Man, she's gorgeous. She took my breath away. I'm going to marry her. Now, that's a strange thing to say first time you meet someone. And people have said to me since, Well, Alan, you're probably half cut. You're well oiled. You were drunk. Is that why you said it? I don't know why I said it, but she took my breath away. And I wanted to marry this girl. And she sat down. She was there to meet someone. And I said, Can I buy you a drink? She says, No, I don't drink. And actually, she's never drunk. She's never tasted alcohol in her life. And she always said, I drank enough for both of us, but that's another story for another day. And we got talking, and then it was time for her to go. She was going up to get the bus. And I said, I'll walk you up to the bus. And she said, Why? And I said, Well, I'll just walk with you. And I went and thought I would get the arms around her and maybe get the lips on her, a wee bit of a court there. But she was having none of it. When the bus came, she jumped on the way. And I thought, well, that's the end of that. And I went back to the bar. So the next day, I slept somewhere that night. And the next day, I went down to get the boat back to Belfast again. And who should come down but Dorothy? And she since told me she did fancy me. She liked me, which is dead on, which is good. And so we discussed a few things. We shared our addresses. The next day I got back to Belfast, sent her a letter. She sent me a letter. This went on for a couple of days. And then we got two phone boxes close by, public phone boxes. We didn't have phones in our houses. None of us families could afford phones in those days. So we got 10p's. Pieces, some coins, and went and phoned each other. And then after a few weeks, Dorothy flew over for a weekend to Belfast. There was bombs going off all over the place, but she liked it. She liked the Belfast itself. And so instead of me going to Africa, I went to live in Liverpool and moved over there. She had organised for me to stay in a friend's house. I slept there on his couch and tried to get jobs, but I could only get day jobs. No one would want to give me a job because with my Irish accent, a couple of soldiers from Liverpool had been shot dead prior to me going there. So once they heard my accent, I couldn't get a job until eventually, after about a month or so, I went for this interview. Instead of using my Belfast accent, I put on a Liverpool accent and went and said, All right, how's it going? Like dead on, Stevie J ads and all that, and I got the job. And later when they found out I wasn't from Liverpool, they weren't too happy, but they couldn't do anything about it. And Dorothy and I were just madly in love, like two young people, rolling round till the first Christmas. I had never been away from my home at Christmas. I'm away from my mum and dad. So I was at Dorothy's family, and when her mum brought in a big turkey, I ran outside and cried sore. I'll never forget that. I was so homesick. And then in January, I asked Dorothy to marry me. And her dad says, yes, you can, but when she's 18. So she was 18 August 22, and I married her in August 25. And in Liverpool, in an Anglican church, and a lot of my family came over on the boat, and they all got off the boat well-oiled and had a well-oiled day and went back well-oiled. It was quite the celebration. And Dorothy and I we're going to go back to Ireland to live. So we went to the Isle of Man for a honeymoon. And we went out one day on bikes, and Dorothy's brakes went as we went down a hill, and I thought I was going to lose her. But she jumped off the bike at the end and thankfully was okay. And we arrived back in Ireland then, went and stayed with my mum, I think, for the first few days, and then applied for a house, and we got a little masonette up the top of the Glencairn. I got my job back in Mackey's. Dorothy got a job in the offices in Mackey's, and our lives just revolved around work, and then at the weekends going to pubs and clubs and Paisley Park, which belonged to Mackey's, and dancing there and listening to bands. And I got back into the old ways with lots of old friends of mine, out playing soccer, out drinking with the guys during the week. Dorothy left at home, and she wasn't happy the way she seen the way alcohol was taking an effect and getting a grip on my life, but she didn't say anything about it because we were still in love, and we didn't have much, but we had each other, and we just were rolling through life, and no real thoughts of the future, no real thoughts of what was going to happen, just living day at a time basically. And we came out of work one day. We were at Maggie's. I waited for Dorothy. She got out of the offices, walking along Longbrook Avenue, past a couple of, it was in a Catholic area before it moved into a Protestant area. I told you about that the other day. And as we came through, we heard boom, 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 5 shots. And above our heads, 6 feet above our heads, 6 gunshots, just 6 feet above our heads. And we ran away like mad, got up home and sit and talk to my mum and telling her about all this. And she says, why don't you two go to Africa now? Instead of just you, Alan, who were supposed to go, why don't the both of you go to Africa? And we went back and thought about that, and might not be a bad idea. My uncle Tony, who was one of my best friends, him and his wife Christine, I'd been best man at their wedding. A little while before that, they'd been in Africa. They went to Rhodesia to be with Uncle Bobby there, and they're setting up their own lives. We contacted them. They said, yes, come on out. It'll be great. And so we applied to see if we would be accepted for both of us to go to Africa and leave Ireland behind. Leave Dorothy's family, she'd already left in Liverpool. Leave my family back there in Belfast and head off into the wide blue yonder to the blue skies of Africa. What will happen? Will we hack it? Will we cut it? What's going to happen in Africa? There's a big world out there waiting on us. I'll tell you more about it tomorrow. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you've enjoyed.